But Benjy, told me fuck you. If you listened to that show, it was quite startling. And then that generated a bunch of song parodies.
Oh.
About Benjy saying fuck you to me.
That's an interesting reaction.
You don't want me to say fuck you to you? Fuck you!
Yeah, I think, look, Benjy gets in here and this is the way I explained it to people who work here. I said, it's an unusual situation. I don't think Benjy would tell his boss, fuck you, except for the fact that we're on the radio and he's trying to be outrageous and interesting. I think he has enough common sense to know not to say fuck you to his boss. And I would think that anyone who is in a job would never say fuck you to a boss unless you didn't care about your job. You know what I mean? And even if you did, you'd want to get a recommendation.
On the way out the door, you say "fuck you." You don't say.
And by the way, you don't even do that because you want some sort of ability to get a recommendation from your job. You know what I mean? It's like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, but if you were going to do it, you wouldn't do it thinking you would stay.
Because everybody wanted to talk to Benjy about this. I said, listen, Benjy's also on the air and he's trying to be interesting, but I guess so. But I'm telling the kids out there who are just starting out in business, never do this.
If you're happy and you know it,
fuck you!
If you're happy and you know it,
fuck you!
If you're happy and
a lot of
you know
songs.
it,
fuck you!
Yeah. So, there was a lot of different things generated. This one, too.
You're breaking my heart. You turn it apart. So
fuck you!
I mean, so loud and annoying, right? Like anybody would fire him.
It was outrageous because it was totally over the top. It was a way too big a reaction to what was going on.
Believe me, as bad as I had it in some jobs in radio, I never said fuck you to my boss because I knew that, listen, there's a certain way you conduct yourself. Whenever Fred tells me fuck you, he does it under his breath. I don't hear it. You know what I mean? He's smart enough to whisper it.
You motherfucker!
Oh.
breaking my heart. You turn it apart. But
fuck you!
You're breaking my heart. You turn it apart.
Fuck you!
We went, there's a right way to say fuck you, and then there's the Benjy way of saying fuck you. But we went out on the street and we said, gee, you couldn't find a person, really, that agreed with Benjy.
Would you ever say fuck you to a boss?
Never. Even when he's 100% wrong. Never.
Fire him, definitely.
And why?
Because it's disrespectful. It's so inappropriate.
Would you ever tell your boss fuck you to his face?
I wish I could. Well, you can't. You want to keep your job. You got a livelihood to look up to.
So what do you think would happen if you told your boss fuck you?
I think I would be fired.
If you're a boss and your employee says fuck you, what do you do to him?
I'm gonna smack the shit out of him and send his ass home and tell him do not bring his punk ass back no more.
Why do you think someone would be so rude to their boss?
They're fucking ignorant. But, it's a lot of ignorant people nowadays, and sometimes they need to get smacked the shit out of.
I found one guy who said he would say, who said, yes, you should say fuck you to the boss, but listen to this guy.
Is it ever okay to say fuck you to your boss?
Sure, why not? I know fucking boss is gonna tell me what the fuck to do.
Would you ever say fuck you to your boss?
Yes, sir. Tell him to kiss my ass. The boss gives me a whole lot of shit. I'll punch him in his motherfucking face. Now.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm homeless. I don't do a goddamn thing. I sit on my ass.
Yeah, there's a guy who thinks like Benjy, a homeless guy.
Yes.
But there were so many comments. Throw Benjy in a wood chipper. Unbelievable. Can't believe Bronk told his boss, fuck you. I don't care how talented someone I work with was. If they said fuck you to me, they'd be fired on the spot. What a disrespectful ingrate. How the fuck can Howard put up with that asshole? Fuck you with no consequences. Wow, what a boss you are, Howard. Don't let Benjy in the studio. He changes the tone of the show and Howard's flow. He adds nothing on air anyway. And this just goes on and on. Gary told me he got into a whole argument with Benjy. He goes, and it's just so difficult to... Gary was making a point that Benjy should get in here early. He should never be late. In other words, he said, Benjy, we have a meeting at 5, let's see what time they have the meeting. Probably about 10 to 6 the meeting starts. Mm-hmm. And the whole staff has it while I'm reading my newspapers. And they kind of go over what they want to present to me. We do have a system here, believe it or not. And Gary said to Benjy, you should be in here early anyway. You should get in around 5:30 so you can be part of the meeting and all of this. Benjy saunters in like...
He recently had this conversation.
Oh, yeah, just the other day.
Okay.
So then Benjy starts yelling at Gary that I'll bet you I know more about current events than you do.
So
Gary went, well, if you know more about current events than I do, then you should definitely be here early for part of the meeting. And then Benjy goes, I want to have an on-air contest with you about who knows more about current events. And Gary goes, he just misses the whole fucking point.
He doesn't even care about your point.
Yeah, good. You know more about current events.
But it helps no one if it's just in your head.
Thank you. That's what... Right, Gary? You got into a whole weird vortex argument.
Yeah, it was more through text messaging than in
person.
But he heard me saying on the wrap-up show that he should be here early, and he said, I bet I know more about current events than Gary. But the point is to be here and have that discussion. Even Sal, who doesn't know anything about current events, comes to our meetings because he can contribute.
Right. But what's Benjy's point? So he knows more about current events than you. What's that got to do with him being here early?
I don't know, because I said in the air, he should be reading, he should come in and read the papers with everybody and listen to all the news and then be part of the meeting.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how he gets into, like, let's have an on-air contest to see who knows more.
I think it's a diversionary tactic.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk about the subject at hand.
That's what Gary thinks, too. It's a deflection.
Benjy!
Hey, Eddie. Eddie in Michigan. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey now, Howard.
Hey now.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you, Howard, okay?
Yeah.
I think Benjy should be back in the studio.
Why?
Okay, do you remember when it all went down when you kicked him out?
Yes.
You gave him your word that it was temporary.
That's right, it is.
Okay. Bobo has since lost his name and got it back before Benjy has even got a shot to maybe sit in for a week.
That's right.
To show you what he brings by being in studio.
Wait a minute, that's not exactly true.
He can come back as soon as I retire. He can have the whole studio.
But you remember a couple of weeks ago, Howard, you were softening up and you said, maybe I'll let Benjy back in.
Yeah.
And the very day before that, he had been late.
Yeah, that's right. Robin's right. I forget all this stuff. Robin keeps track.
No, she's right, and I do agree that did happen, Howard, but that kind of seemed kind of fishy that you
I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth, Eddie. I say a lot of things on the air that I don't really necessarily stick with. In other words, when I said, Benjy can come back in the studio, at the time I was like, just get him the fuck out of here. I was so angry I wanted to go on with the show.
That's over with.
Yeah, and then as time goes on, I go, you know what? I'm happier this way. I don't want to see Benjy sauntering late, or I don't want to have that aggravation where I go, I wonder if he'll be in on time today, or he'll aggravate me. So
well, here's my point.
It works out better for me. And I know I'm not consistent, and I know I'm probably quote-unquote lying, but it's not a lie. It's just that I don't ever want to think about it.
I think from a listener, Howard, and I listen every day for years, there is something missing with Benjy not being in there.
Oh, there is definitely something missing. There's no question about that. But
Benjy's missing.
My peace of mind is more important.
Yeah, but that's once every 3 or 4 months at the most.
Eddie,
come on.
You don't know. Eddie, I don't need that blotchy distraction.
Can I ask Benjy a question? Could you bring him in?
Oh, God. All right, Benjy, come on in. There's a question for you on the table.
I think you'll like it, Howard.
I probably won't, but it's all right. Because I like Benjy. He's a good boy. He's a nice boy. You're a good boy. You are.
Boy chick.
No, a boy. He's a good boy.
You're a good man.
Because he operates like a little boy, you know. He's late and everyone has to yell at him. You know what I mean? But I do like him.
I like you too.
And I think Benjy's turning 50 in September.
Wow.
But I think. I don't know.
No.
You're not?
Nobody knows.
You're younger than that.
Yeah.
Or older.
Younger.
Are you much younger, right? You're like 30.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you are. I don't care. I know you like to be young.
He is a boy. He's 19.
He's 19. He's barely a man. All right. What is it, Eddie? A question for Benjy on the table, who knows more current events than Gary, right?
Well, I said that because you would have to listen to the context.
Yes.
He was saying, like, I don't know the news or something like that. And I said, I bet I know more.
Oh, he said you don't know the news.
Something to that.
Howard never said that. What I said was, if Benjy...
You said, I need to be reading the newspapers in the morning.
I was saying that maybe something happened overnight and Benjy doesn't know about it. You know, I know he knows about the news in general, but maybe something happened overnight, 3 in the morning. If he came to our meeting, he'd be aware of that, and then he could riff on it.
Well, I agree.
But he was implying I don't know the news, or he's saying
I didn't say that.
You said maybe something happened at 3 in the morning that I don't know.
Well, you might not know about. He's making a good point.
That is possible that something happens at 3 in the morning I don't know about. There's also something might have happened at 11 o'clock last night that you don't know about. But I in general, I'm pretty well read about
Are you
the news.
irritated with Gary because he keeps you out of the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I'm irritated about that, but also it feels like you can be very rough on me, I feel.
Right.
In a condescending way. You can make fun of me. I feel a lot of people take on your feelings.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
That's funny.
It's just funny when Benjy explains shit.
Why?
You're being funny, that's all. Funny.
Okay.
Funny, haha.
I feel a lot of people take on your attitude, whether it's good or bad.
I see. All right, well, thanks. Good to see you. Bye.
Okay.
That's Eddie. Does that answer your question?
He didn't have a question. He never asked this question.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Benjy.
Oh, here comes the question, Benjy. Sorry.
Benjy, I love you. Big fan.
Hey, Eddie.
Here we go. I know you probably really don't ever get one-on-one alone time with Howard. There's a few people to go through.
When he fucks up, he does.
You have a chance right now to look Howard in the eyes and persuade him and tell him why you being in the studio is better. And
Dude, that is not a question.
Okay,
don't make me uncomfortable because of your dopey question. I got to have Benjy staring me in the eyes. I don't want that.
Let's hear him out. He's at least he deserves to hear him out.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm not going to make you do that, Benjy. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
This guy's fucking retarded.
All right, but that was I appreciate his call. But
listen, I love you. Benjy has a very hard 12-hour week that he puts in, and people should be aware of that. It's exhausting. How you doing when you're sleeping? You sleeping better?
So much better.
Look at this.
Nice.
Yeah.
My boy's growing up.
So much better. In fact, it's funny like how little things inspire you. Like the other day you said, I don't know why it hit me the way it did, but you said you went to sleep at 6:30.
Sure.
Which I know is unusually early.
Go to bed.
For you, but it just I don't know why. I'm getting so much better at it. It seemed impossible before,
there
but
you
now
go. My sleepy boy is doing good.
Thank you.
All right, great talking to you. Let's talk again this winter. Bye, Benjy.
What after the solstice or solstice? Or?
Solstice, summer solstice.
All right.
Benjy is realized he's preparing for hibernation. He's like a bear. What? He wanted to say something. Go ahead. I don't want to be unfair.
There's a lot to say, apparently.
Yeah. Well, he's been pent up back in the office. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I have been pent up.
All right, go ahead.
The fuck you thing was
stupid.
It was stupid to say, but it's funny the way people reacted to it. Like you say such horrible things about me on a regular basis. Like if you rewound the show to any point you talk about me, it's probably something really, really mean about me.
Absolutely. Okay. Speak to you later. Bye.
And normally I only have a chance to say 2 words. So the 2 words at that moment when you were saying, do not ask people for sleep tips.
All right.
I said,
thanks.
Fuck you.
Okay. Bye.
Why are you so mean to me?
I'm not being mean. I'm saying, yeah, I agree with you. Bye.
All right.
I'm just busting your balls, Benjy. I love the kid. Do you like anything about being out of the studio? I bet you some aspects you like. You don't have Fred staring at you while you eat.
And he is a lord.
Well, it's Do I really like if I went to the comfort of the room? Is the comfort of the room different?
Yeah, I think it's better.
No, actually, it's a lot worse.
Oh,
with
really?
like people walking around talking, that kind of thing.
Distracting.
But I mean, obviously, it's a status kind of thing,
right?
And it's being part of the show kind of thing.
Thank you. Yes, Doug.
Hey now, woot woot,
woot woot, woot woot.
I've heard you talk about this 10 to 6 meeting before.
Yes.
And it sounds like just about everybody attends but Benjy.
That's true. Everyone who works here is there but Benjy. He set up his own hours.
Why do you and Gary make it optional for him? Why
you know what it is? Like Benjy had a certain workflow before we put together that meeting, and somehow, I don't know, it's like it's become like that's Benjy's job. You can't shift it around. You can't say to him, hey, show up a little early. I don't know. It's just weird. But again, I'm the ball buster. You know, everyone else gets that they should be at that meeting.
Fuck you, Hal.
Yeah, right. Everything with Benjy's optional. He doesn't want to work in the afternoon, his vacation. It's like, fine. I'm like, Benjy, I've had discussions with him where he tells me he's losing his mind unless he can get sleep. And so I just go, Benjy, work the hours you need to work and we'll figure out something.
Motherfucker!
Yeah, I just like, I give up.
You motherfucker!
I'm a funny guy. I hate when people self-destruct. Like Jackie or something. Like I said to Jackie a million times, Jackie, you got a great job. Stop looking at what you're doing fantastic in life. You got a great place to work. You're making a lot of money. You got prestige. I don't care. You're out to get me.
Yeah.
You know. So I tried for years to make my point to him. Years and years. Then finally I gave up. And same with Benjy. It's like, I hear him, he goes, I can't sleep. I got problem. I can't do this. I can't get here.
I was not doing that.
All right, whatever.
There was a time that
Absolutely. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, goodbye. You weren't doing that. I want Benjy to stay here, so I always try to advise him wisely.
You pretty much put him out.
So I let him do what he wants.
Can stay.
Yeah, I basically arranged a job like no other job we have here. I have night terrors, he tells me. Night terrors? Here's a terror. You got nowhere to go to work.
Terrors. It's called Benjy.
You're my day terror. I swear I try to save all my guys.
Yeah, you can hear that on the air, too. It's just, you think he'd know what a complete home run it would be.
I have friends who have wrecked I have friends who have wrecked their own lives. I've seen it. They go down this rabbit hole where they evaluate themselves in such a high level that they fuck their whole lives up.
Yeah.
I have friends who say to me, you made your move to Sirius, I'm making my big move. I go, are you fucking crazy? I go, you know, people come to me for advice and I tell them the truth. Jason, you want to yell at Benjy? What's that all about?
Hey, man.
What are you mad about? How did Jason get in on this? What are you angry about?
What am I angry about? I work in the office.
Yeah, go ahead.
I work full time.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Right.
Every day, it is an honor and no joke, an honor and a blessing to be in here, have FaceTime with you, be able to talk about what's going on in the world.
Yes.
And know how maybe I see things might make it to the air.
That's right.
Or might help you make a better show.
But by the way, you do a great job of that.
Thanks. And it drives me crazy that Benjy, who's been here a lot longer than I have, that has this carte blanche to kind of come and go as he pleases, which is fine.
I'm trying to save him. I'm trying to save him.
Which is fine.
Right.
But it just drives me crazy that he doesn't see this opportunity and take it and go, oh, I know a lot about current events. Let me show up a half hour early, which isn't early. It's on
And
time.
by the way, that would make the show better.
Absolutely.
And ensure that that his job would be here.
And you know what the craziest thing is? It would probably get him more airtime.
Of course.
Because he'd be here and you go, Benji, get in here, explain how you saw X, Y, and Z.
You hit it right on the head, but go try and tell him that. Did you hear what Jason said, Benji? Come in here and acknowledge that.
Would he like to challenge him to a current events contest?
You know what, Jason? Yeah, he's going to come in and challenge you. By the way, Jason's belly is full of wisdom. Now I know why he's heavy. It's not from eating. What do you think of what he said, Benji? Did you happen to catch it, or were you busy, or whatever?
I heard it, yeah.
I like what he said.
I do too.
That's the kind of common sense I try to instill in you.
Yes.
You know, I tell you, Jason, you're as wise as you are obese. Honestly.
I don't get why you are so fat. Because you do seem a very competent person.
Don't change the subject.
Thank you. You know why?
Because I'm what he's saying. He's saying if you took the job and really expanded it as opposed to diminishing it, you would probably enjoy the job more and have more airtime and everything else.
Cool.
And it's crazy when you say...
Now, I see Benji, like he'll go leave here right away and he goes home and he makes a podcast of some sort, of video cast. And I go, why would he sit there with that, with his 3 people maybe watching him, where he could be part of this and contribute in a way that makes him gets him more exposure?
I cannot tell you how many times we're sitting around talking in the afternoon and we think of something. We go, oh, Benji would be perfect for that.
But he's not here. Right. All right. Anyway, Benji.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Now I'm more irritated with Benji. Exactly what Jason said is what I was saying on the wrap-up show the other day, yet I'm an asshole. Jason comes in and you go, he's right.
That's because I can articulate it better.
Yeah, maybe you're not.
Exactly
No. Jason's a fat, balding guy also.
Right. It's easier to take it.
Yeah.
All right.
You feel Gary doesn't have the same soft touch that Jason has.
No, Gary.
Maybe Gary.
Why does Gary irritate you when he says it?
Well,
Gary makes a good point.
Well, first of all, there's irritation from Jason also.
Right.
I'm more calm today.
Right.
I got a great sleep last night. That's probably a lot of it.
What do you think of what he's saying, though? That he's saying if you were here in the morning, maybe you'd be part of the discussion and have FaceTime and you have more airtime.
It's all. I think a lot of times Jason speaks about me.
But what do you think about what he's saying?
Out of meanness. I don't think this was. I think this was.
But what do you think about what he's saying?
I think this was sincere.
Right. And what do you think of what he's saying?
It makes sense.
Oh, it did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so is this going to have an impact on your actions?
Oh my God. Are you going to
wait. Let me ask the caller. Why did you say, "Oh my God"?
Because there's no fear in your job, and I already know you're not going to attend the 10 to 6 meeting.
Right.
I just don't understand why you could better the show, and you have, talked about it 100 times, the golden opportunity to be in your position, and you don't have fear of losing your job, and all you got to do
I do have
meeting.
fear.
No, he has fear. He knows that I have a point where I get completely aggravated, and no matter how much I love someone, I do have to say goodbye.
But he's still there, and he doesn't.
He's still there, and he is important to me.
But you guys were talking about the "fuck you" thing. I do think you're mature on the air enough to in a conversation when you're saying mean shit to me for me to say "fuck you" back.
Well, okay.
Is that good advice?
Who's fatter between the two of you two?
Probably
really?
I am.
You weigh more than Jason.
Oh, no. Fatter. I'm saying percentage of my body.
Right. I think so. I'm looking at the two of you, and Jason looks skinny next to you. It's weird.
Now I like standing next to Benji.
The two of you, why don't you go discuss dieting? All right, thank you. Very good. All right, there's Benji. For those of you who are fans of Benji.
If his actions are going to change as a result of that good advice.
I can tell you the answer if you want to know. Nothing is going to change. He's going to go do podcasts.
So what good does it do talking to him?
Oh my God! The two of them tried to get out the door at the same time, and they got stuck in the doorway. Hold on,
They get stuck.
Fred, push one of them out so they can get out the door. I mean, it's wild. Yes, Mike, go ahead. People are enraged and they want to speak out. Yes, Mike.
Hey, you guys are a bunch of pussies. Somebody's got to fire this guy. I guarantee he's not the only guy that can do this job. And if you put an ad in the paper that says, full-time job, 12 hours a week, you can make enough to live on in New York, I guarantee you're going to find an applicant. I mean, who has to say that to their boss and get away with it? Nobody does.
All right, fair enough, Mike. David, go ahead. David, you're on the air in Ohio. All right. Ryan, you're on the air in Connecticut.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Yeah, I would have fired him right on the spot. I was surprised you didn't.
Yeah, well, I feel
he's a bad parent.
I am. You know what? I think when you're on the air and you feel like you're being humiliated, you try to fight back in some way or something. It's, I don't think Benjy would do that off the air.
Well, that's what you do.
Yeah, and, but honestly, I do have a rule around here. You've heard of the rule, 3 strikes and you're out? I have a rule, 1,800 strikes and you're out. And he's up to 1,700. So, see, he still has 100 more. Okay?
But,
By the way, there were people here who wanted to fire him, and I put a stop to that. I said, look, we were on the air. We had heated words. He probably felt embarrassed, and I understood that.
I don't even remember what you said.
I don't even remember what the argument was about, honestly.
Yeah.
It was just stupid. And then the only thing I remember is that he said, fuck you to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 8 times.
Like 8 times. That's right. And I kept him around. All right, Ryan, I hear your point, but
I've took stuff from bosses before and everything, and, you take it. That's your boss.
I know. All right. Fair enough, Ryan. I hear you. Whatever. Somehow I get a kick out.
Well, you know what I was thinking? I was going to talk to them. It. I know, but I was going to talk to them, to the producers, and see if we could run a second show with some of the material that we couldn't use in the first. Because I think, you know what happened? You never know, Howard, even you, how good a guest is going to be and how forthcoming and generous. Right. And so we did go a little overboard, but you gave us such great material. We had I don't know about you, but I had so much fun talking to you.
I had a fabulous time doing your show.
And it was actually, I liked the fact that it was fun, but it was also serious. I think we had a serious conversation about a lot of different things.
Well, it made me realize what a good interviewer you are, because people have said to me, gee, Howard, you do a good job, because people get relaxed and they start talking. You're the same way, and I think it's harder on TV when you have that whole audience.
Right.
I think the audience can get in the way. When you were a news person or on the Today Show, you didn't have that audience in your face.
I think the audience is a mixed bag. I think for some people, they can get a lot of energy from the audience. I think you did this too, Howard. You sort of turn and you talk to the audience. You acknowledge that they're there. It's sort of like being on stage. And so for some people, I think it's energizing. For other people, it's off-putting. But I know what you mean, because I think when it's just one-on-one, there is kind of an intimacy that develops between two people.
I think people will like seeing the show today, the 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗿 show. What time is it on in New York? It's on
3 o'clock.
But it's on all different times throughout the country.
Mostly 3 and 4, really, throughout the country. It's syndicated, so stations put it at different times.
That's sort of Oprah's old time period, 3 and 4 o'clock, right? Do you think your show would have come about if Oprah was still on the air? Was there room enough for another show?
I don't think so. I mean, it's really hard to even do it now, to start a show in this current climate. You know what's going on with the fragmented media landscape, and to really get viewers to be excited, especially I think at that hour of the day. There's a certain set of viewers that are available, and sometimes you know, not as many people, say, who are around in the morning who kind of make something like this or the Today Show or GMA part of their morning routines. It's a little harder, I think, for 3 or 4 in the afternoon even.
Do you worry about the economics of your show? They got to pay you X amount of dollars, and to put on the show is expensive.
Yeah.
Could someone, again, make that kind of money like Oprah did, or is that a thing of the past?
I don't know. You know, I think it's increasingly difficult to really get that kind of market share in the current climate. But, you know, that doesn't mean that, of course, you know, the listeners who listen to you, the viewers who watch me, you know, it's a wonderful platform. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, the show's fun to do.
You know, I like it because there's so much variety. Last week I did a piece on the military, saluting the troops and talking about PTSD. You know, I really like, first of all, I love interviewing interesting people. For example, when we did the show. Yeah. But I also like talking about important issues and topics, whether...
Do you worry, though, if you do a show on post-traumatic stress syndrome, do you worry that the ratings will go down?
Yeah, you know, I sort of... That's in the back of my mind, Howard, but honestly, I came to this wanting to tackle some important issues, wanting to hopefully illuminate some topics that don't get enough airtime in other venues. And so my feeling is, this is who I am, this is what I care about, this is what I'm curious about.
But do you have people who come into your office every day and say, hey, Katie, it's great that you're into post-traumatic stress syndrome and you want to help people, but the ratings dropped by X amount of people?
You know, they kind of say, it didn't do that well, but then I say, oh, well, that's
You really
okay.
don't get affected by that?
No, you know, I don't, because I think at this point in my career, Howard, I want to do quality stuff. And if people don't want to listen to the stuff that I'm interested in doing,
you'll leave.
That's okay, you know? It really is okay. So I want it to do well, but I don't feel this incredible pressure that, oh my God, I'll have to do anything to make you know, to get more viewers or to make whatever.
What do you like better? You like doing hard? You see, I don't think many people realize that when you started out, and I think you've had a charmed life in a sense.
Well,
I'm talking
in
about
some ways,
in
maybe.
career. Charmed in the sense that you got out of college where you were a Tri Delta, so was my wife, which I'm amazed because and when I went to college, nobody even would want me in a fraternity. Like no one, there was no fraternity for me.
And now you're married to a beautiful sorority girl.
A Tri Delta, yeah. But when you went to college, you get out and you start. I forget where you started working. Like right away, you had a job, like a great job.
I mean, no, not really. I was basically a desk assistant at ABC, Howard. I was making coffee, answering the phone. I had to bug the hell out of them to get them to hire me. I had to keep going, and you should hear how I kind of figured out how to get upstairs to talk to the bureau chief of ABC News in Washington.
You didn't sleep with him at all?
No. What happened was I applied for all these jobs. I didn't hear from anyone, so I said to my mom, can you drive me down to the ABC News Bureau in Washington? So we get in our Buick station wagon, you know. She drops me off. I go inside. I say to the security guard, can I go up and say hello to George Watson, who was then the deputy? He was the bureau chief. Or Kevin Delaney was the deputy bureau chief. And they said, well, no, do you have an appointment? I said, no. And I said, well, can I call Davey Newman? And they said, okay. So I picked up the security phone, and Davey Newman was the executive producer of World News Tonight.
That's ballsy.
And I said, hey, Davey, you don't really know me, but my sister Kiki went to high school with your twin brothers, Steve and Eddie Newman, and I'm wondering if I can just come and say hi and introduce myself quickly.
You had balls.
I did.
Do you think you had balls because your father was a journalist, right?
Yes, yeah.
So when you're around that kind of vibe, I don't even know why you would pick journalism when your father's a journalist. Maybe if you were a boy, it would have been different, but do you feel that sense of competition with your own father, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. He was a print journalist. He worked for the Atlanta Constitution, United Press, and then he went into PR because I think he had a hard time supporting 4 kids
as a journalist
on a reporter's salary. Yeah. But no, I don't. Not at all. In fact, he was so proud of me, you know. And the one thing I think he encouraged me to go into journalism because the one thing that I could do decently, I could write well.
Right.
And I wrote well under pressure, and I was very outgoing. So then I thought, well, why not try television? Because the doors were opening for women in broadcasting.
Right.
And I thought, it's more lucrative.
Yeah, but you got the job at ABC, and then you went to CNN right away, too.
Yeah, but, George Watson left ABC, started CNN, so I went as an assistant assignment. I mean, I really worked my way up,
I know.
Howard,
I don't think people realize that of you, because when you went to CBS News, guys like Dan Rather gave you such crap.
Yeah, that was sort of disconcerting, actually. And, he'd been very, very kind to me throughout my career. I had met him on a number of occasions covering hearings on Capitol Hill. I think I saw him during the Clarence Thomas hearings, and he was incredibly gracious and generous. And I don't know, I think he was colored by the very bad experience he had at CBS. So I think he was
but it was so sexist. He said they're bringing in 𝗫𝗄𝗏 to tart it up.
Yeah,
to
that
tart
was
it up.
odd,
A tart
wasn't
is a prostitute. You know what I mean? It was
really? I don't know if a tart is a prostitute.
Well, I think that implies that you're just some cheap.
Floozy.
A floozy.
Yeah.
In other words, you're going to floozy it up on the news, and they're trying to bring sex appeal. That was awfully archaic thinking, I think.
Yeah, I was surprising, actually, and disappointing. But what are you going to do, Howard?
You ever run into him?
No, I haven't run into him, actually.
What would you say? Do you think you'd be friendly?
I think I would say, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think I would be cordial, and I guess I would have to read him to see how he would respond to me. But that was disappointing and actually kind of surprising for him.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Rooney sandbagged you. I feel.
Well, I think, what happened is, I think because Les Moonves brought me in,
right.
And I think one of the things you have to have when you come to an organization is the support of the rank and file. And I think when there's a top-down thing that goes on, and I think CBS in particular is a very traditional network, and they are very, and to their credit, very loyal to people who work there. And I think I was viewed as an outsider who came in and hadn't worked my way up the CBS ladder.
Whenever the president of the entertainment division brings in a news person, news people get completely pissed off for two reasons. Number one, the entertainment division is willing to pay people a lot of money to bring them in. And you came in at a high salary for a news person.
Well, it's really what I was making at the Today Show.
Right.
Yeah.
About $15 million. And so the news people go, oh, she's making $15 million and rah, 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 rah. And they undermine you. They do. They undermine you. I was shocked because when you did your interview with Sarah Palin, I thought more people would praise you. I think that was one of the single best interviews I've ever seen anywhere. Sarah Palin. When I watch that thing, and I've watched it probably 50 times, to me it's a lesson on how to interview someone.
Well, actually that interview did get a lot of praise and support. I think that later when she talked about it publicly, it was more criticized, but initially when it aired, Howard, it got I didn't get much criticism at all, even from Republicans. I think most people thought it was incredibly fair, and that I didn't sandbag her, that the questions were not gotcha questions. They were basically questions, in my mind, that required accumulated knowledge and an ability to be a critical thinker.
When you prepared to interview Sarah Palin, did you go in with the attitude that this is not a bright woman?
No, I went in with the attitude as that there was a lot that was not known about her, how she would govern,
right,
what her opinion was on certain policy issues, how she felt. I mean, she had just gone to the UN and met with all these world leaders. I wanted to know her take on foreign policy issues, on Iran, nuclear weapons. I mean, I really approached it as I would have approached any political candidate who was not that well known.
I think she underestimated you. I think she thought, oh, she used to be from the Today Show. She's going to ask me some light, fluffy questions.
You know what? That always bothers me because I think anybody who watched the Today Show when I was on it, and when Matt and I did so many serious, hard-hitting interviews, and with a whole variety of people, whether they were CEOs like 𝗦𝗵cie𝘄𝗿𝗱 or David Duke when he was running for office.
Even when Matt first came to the show, you were the one who got all the serious interviews.
That's true.
Robin.
Yeah,
Hi there.
How are you? Nice to hear your
good.
voice, Robin.
By the way, I do talk about Robin in my Katie Couric searing interview, the intense interview.
Yes, he said the nicest things about you, Robin.
My Robin, of course.
You know, but you're right. So that I think because the Today Show provides you with so much variety. So 1 minute you may be interviewing 𝗦𝗵cie𝘄𝗿𝗱, and the next minute you may be doing a cooking segment or the hottest jeans for summer. You know, so I think as a result, people don't look at your sort of your body of work, so to speak, which always sounds so pretentious, in toto. You know, they kind of remember the fun moments when you're flying across the plaza dressed in a Peter Pan outfit, and they kind of dismiss the moments when you're doing serious interviews.
So when you did the Sarah Palin interview, after you get done with something like that, do you know you have gold, or were you shocked by the reaction?
You know, I wasn't sure what the reaction was going to be because I think because the country is so polarized, I thought that people who did not like her, did not support her, would feel that even more strongly, that they would dislike her more. And I thought that people who supported her would basically blame me for the questions I asked and excuse anything that she did during the course of that interview. So I thought it would basically
make people more entrenched. And is that the way it played out? No. How did anyone vote for her after that?
Well, I think what happened was there was this sort of swath of undecided voters, kind of more moderate voters, who were really on the fence. And if you remember at that moment in time during the campaign, the trajectory for Obama was kind of flatlining a little bit. And Sarah Palin had given this riveting, I mean, she did an incredible job at the convention because she was like a politician, the likes of which nobody had ever seen before.
It was an amazing performance. Yeah.
I mean, she was so accessible and funny, and you know, she was an incredibly appealing candidate.
So do you think you were, I'm not going to say totally responsible, but somewhat responsible for Obama winning?
No,
I mean, would.
I would say that I think for this broad swath of undecided voters, I think they saw this interview, they thought, gee, this is the person who's going to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. John McCain had multiple instances of melanoma. Thank goodness his health is good. He was just in Syria, meeting with rebels. And, you know, so I think it really gave people pause. And they thought, not only about her, but I think about Senator McCain's judgment in selecting her.
Yeah, I think it changed a lot of people's opinion. When I saw the answer to the periodicals, when I saw her answer about Russia being like she's doing business with them because they're near Alaska. And
you know what's so interesting? That whole question about what do you read, that was kind of an afterthought for me because that was at the end of our second interview.
It was a ridiculous easy.
We had done one interview in New York, and then we did a second one in Ohio after a campaign appearance. And we had to do a walk and talk,
you
right?
were walking
we wanted
down
to
a
get
road.
some B-roll, right? For the interview. And I was curious because when anyone is so extreme in their political ideology, I'm always curious, like, what made them that way? What shaped them? What did they have a formative experience? Was it their parents? What do they read that kind of helps reinforce that on a daily basis?
It was a softball question. If any of the questions were softball, it was a throwaway.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, what do you read when you wake up in the morning?
It was I think she was so aggravated with me by that point that she just was very defensive about it. And she said, you know, people in Alaska read. And I said, you know, I thought I wasn't suggesting that. But I thought it was interesting. And I wonder if she in her own mind has gone back and thought, gee, maybe I should have said I read every newspaper in Alaska because I'm governor of that state, or I read every national newspaper, and Katie, I Google things. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think she's the type of person who goes back and thinks about what she says. I don't think she reflects. No, not at all. I think she's thought Katie Couric tried to screw me. I don't like her. It's that simple.
But have you ever run into her again?
I haven't. I did invite her to come on my show.
Oh, how great would that be?
But in a way, I think the purity of that interview and that experience and that exchange sort of should. Part of me feels like, I mean, it would be a very different interview now because she's not running for office. And
it would take away, now that you bring that up, I agree with you that it would take away from the purity of the interview, because you guys would sit there and do sort of a nicer interview, and who knows, maybe even try to explain away some of it, and she'd put a spin on it, and I don't know. I think it would ruin everything. I do.
I have very mixed feelings about it. Well, needless to say, I've extended the invitation, and I have not heard back from her.
What are you doing about this whole Today Show controversy now? I mean,
me? What am I doing?
Yes, because I want to know your thoughts. Yes, she does. She has to step in and straighten it out.
I'll take care of it, Howard.
You had decided after the CBS News thing that you might consider going back to the Today Show after, I guess, Meredith Vieira left, that you would join Matt again at the desk, and that then the plan would be, after the 2 years that you did that and Matt's contract was up, you would then do the show together, your new talk show together.
I mean, I don't think it was ever quite as far down the road as you described now, Howard. I mean, I think that Matt and I had talked about possibly teaming up and doing a show at some point.
Right.
And, there were some cautious overtures to me to possibly come back to the Today Show, but then they sort of evaporated.
Was that something that was not an option for you? You would never go back?
Part of me, for me, that was the best job because, first of all, I loved the ensemble cast. I loved working with Matt. We did have this special relationship.
And you did not enjoy working with Brian Gumbel?
No, I actually did. I did enjoy working with Brian.
I think it's known in the industry that you had great chemistry with Brian Gumbel, and you were very professional with him on the air, but behind the scenes, you were not thrilled with him.
Well, you know what's funny? I feel very close to Brian now. I just saw him the other night, and I really like. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we socialized. I mean, I actually would love to have lunch with him. We've talked about that. I saw him at a movie screening, and I love his wife, Hillary.
Right.
I think he's incredibly happy now. I think
biggest mistake he ever made was leaving the Today Show, yes?
Well, I think to everything there is a season, Howard.
Yes, but still, you must have been, at the time that you were working there, you were not thrilled. I mean, you did the job, and you were great at it, and you made chemistry happen with him.
I would say that Bryant at the time was pretty prickly, and sometimes quite challenging.
Angry.
I wouldn't say angry. I think Bryant, it was very set in his ways. He was used to being the top banana, and when I took that job, Howard, I said to the president of NBC News, Michael Gartner, I said, listen, I'd love to do the Today Show, but I want it to be a 50-50 division of labor. I don't want to be relegated to doing cooking segments and the lighter fare, because I had covered the Pentagon. I'd worked really hard to be taken seriously as a journalist, and I said I don't want to be in that position. So I think that initially probably that was pretty off-putting for Bryant.
Right.
And I think he was sort of a little like, who does this person think she is? Ultimately, they said, well, how about 52-48? And I said, I'll take it.
Right.
But, I just think that probably there was a little jockeying for position. And because I wanted to be taken seriously, and I think Brian also was used to being the top banana.
Don't you think Brian thought when he left the show would fall apart? Don't you think there's always that expectation?
I don't know. I don't think so, because Bryant and Matt are, as you know, Howard, are really, really close friends.
But when you left, didn't you don't you take some pleasure in the fact that the show now is struggling? I mean, yeah, okay, they had their run with Meredith and all that, but don't you take a little bit of pleasure? Say, you know what? It's not for everyone. Not everyone can do that job.
Well, I do feel like the Today Show is such an institution, and it's sort of stronger than the sum of its parts. I mean, I think it's a great show. I think it has to be cared for and nurtured, and I think that's what's been going on now.
Is that why Good Morning America is winning?
I think Good Morning America is winning because it's more fun to watch now. I think probably because of all the sturm and drang that would happen on the Today Show. I think GMA, everybody seems sort of lighter and happier.
They seized the moment.
Yeah, and I think, I think it's usually the way things, this, Howard, from being in the business, it's the way things are orchestrated by people behind the scenes, that they never realize how careful they have to be when they're doing anything with the people on air, because people do feel very familial towards their morning show folks. They feel like they're part of their family. They feel very close to them.
So what's the right way to fire someone? If you're an executive, I know the executives at NBC get criticized, and I know a lot of these guys because I work on America's Got Talent, and they're nice guys. They don't mean harm. They don't want to do things. What is the proper way? If they feel Ann Curry isn't working out, what is the right way to quote unquote fire somebody? I mean, it's always going to be ugly, isn't it?
You know what? Don't you think that people don't ever have face-to-face conversations and say, you know what? And again, I haven't worked at NBC for a while, so I don't know what everything that happened behind the scenes at all. But I feel like people have a very difficult time just being direct and honest with someone.
Transparency.
Or just saying, hey, this isn't working, this is working. We're a little concerned. Maybe this isn't the right spot for you. But we really value you and value what you've been able to contribute to the network.
That's true.
Ann has done a lot of great work for NBC, and she is really very successfully carved a niche for herself to cover a lot of these big international stories, and I just think, I don't know. I think there are a lot of cowards who work in television and probably in every industry.
You're right. Sometimes you think you're protecting the person by not being so transparent, by not coming forward and having that discussion. And yet you're right. If you make a good point. If you sat down and you had this very honest discussion, maybe it wouldn't seem so ugly.
Instead of these behind-the-scenes machinations where people feel like they're being sabotaged, and say we want to put you in a position where you're going to really soar and do really well.
And let us all win.
And by the way, a lot of it's not even personal. It is, Howard, you and I talked about it on my show, a little bit about chemistry. So much about that show. Sometimes you go out on a date and you're not really into the person for whatever weird sort of nebulous reason.
They're perfect on paper together.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work out.
And sometimes, so much of that show is not about the interviews. It's really about, I hate to use the word repartee, but it's about the banter and the exchanges and the kind of comfort level between those two people.
You and Matt had that.
Yeah, I think we did.
More so than you and Bryant, in a way, right?
Well, Brian and I had a different relationship. Mine was sort of the irritating younger sister to Bryant.
Would you guys talk off the air when you used to work with Bryant? Would you actually have conversation?
Yeah.
Or was it just like, let's go to work and then leave?
No. We would talk. I mean, he was a little moody at the time. I'm not going to lie.
He used to write the memos.
Himself. No, he wrote one memo. I don't think listen, I give him credit because you want somebody who cares about the product, right?
That's right.
And so he's sort of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. You don't want somebody who just walks in, does the show, and leaves. I mean,
So why have you not had lunch with him? Why have you not had lunch with him?
honestly, it's because we've both been busy. He lives in Florida part of the year.
Oh.
You know, and we see each other, and honestly, there is a genuine warmth and affection between the two of us.
Right.
Isn't there something to also having been one of the keepers of the flame of the Today Show? The Today Show has such a long tradition. Aren't you glad it's still surviving without you?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I would not want anything to survive without me.
Well, stop it.
I would,
No.
if I was Katie, if I could.
AGT should die when you leave?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it should die. Why not? Why am I like that? Am I so deformed? Am I so...
I think there's come on, let's be honest. There's a little primal instinct in everybody who has that. But, you know, you hope to appeal to the better side of yourself.
Think of the pressure you were under when you took over the Today Show. You were replacing Deborah Norville, who hadn't worked out. Deborah Norville failed. And you could have easily come in there and not been accepted by the audience.
You know
It's so
what?
weird. How do you charm an audience?
You know what? I sort of feel like that's so unfair to say Deborah Norville failed.
Well, that was the perception.
Well, you know, I think for that moment in time, what happened was, again, if people remember, Jane Pauley was kind of forced out.
Right.
Deborah Norville was brought in.
And she was seen as a villain.
Yeah, and it was sort of, in a weird way, out of her control. And I think, I mean, I really like Deborah. I think she was almost too beautiful to do that job, because people used to say they felt like they had to be dressed with their makeup on watching Deborah in the morning, because she was that stunning. And I think it was a little bit like, whoa. And, you know, again, I think she's incredibly smart. She landed on her feet. I have a lot of admiration for her, because, listen, to be publicly humiliated like that is an awful, awful experience. I mean, I think we've all had our time with that.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, I really admire Deborah. And I think, again, it was just sort of how they positioned it. Remember, they had Deborah sitting on the couch with Jane and Brian. It was like a guy with his wife and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was so wrong.
Yeah, you can't stage it that way, because, let's face it, women don't react well to that, and even men don't get too comfortable with that. But are you shocked today that, like, Fox News, for example, do you watch Fox News ever?
Occasionally, yeah.
Are you turned off to them because, in the same way that MSNBC has sort of their view or slant on the news, it's so obvious?
You know, I think it's kind of interesting to see what everybody's saying about it, you know, a specific issue. So it's sort of interesting to see what Rachel Maddow is saying about something and what Bill O'Reilly is saying about something.
But aren't you shocked how every woman that I see on Fox News now has a very short skirt on, the big boobs, and I mean, it's almost like watching softcore porn, isn't it? Does it turn you off?
I do think there seems to be a bit of a type over there, and I think Roger Ailes knows what he's doing.
Well, it does get me to take a look. I'll be honest with you. It's like wow, really? I mean, one, and then the women disappear and they bring in a younger, hotter one. You know,
I used to see that on Fox Business, more on regular Fox News, where people would be dressing very provocatively and super low-cut dresses, and I would be like, wow.
Do you now? I kid you on your show today when we do the interview about you. Your legs are very attractive, and they're very waxed up or something.
I oiled them up for you today.
One of the things I know when I watch this show, and I think you look fabulous.
Thank you.
I really do. But you know, this is the first time I've seen you wear pants. You usually wear.
That's not true.
You wear a skirt.
Yeah, most days.
And your legs are fantastic.
Thank you.
And I said to my audience, Katie's doing something with her legs. Either you're waxing them, or like there's a shine to them.
No, basically I just put lotion on them. That's my secret.
Is that what it is? It's lotion, and they're fabulous. And she crosses them with the high heels. I mean, it's very sexy.
Beth is sitting
I know,
right here.
Beth and I have talked about it.
Ooh, this is getting weirder and weirder.
Oh, darling, we're going to have a threesome by the end of the show. Stay tuned. It's going to be wonderful.
Do they pressure you when you? Because I remember with CBS News too, that was another thing. They were like, let's put Katie not behind the anchor desk. We want to put her somewhere where we can show her legs. It was a calculated move.
I don't know. You know, honestly, it wasn't like, let's put Katie somewhere to show her legs. I think we tried to make the evening news a little less formulaic, a little less formal, more conversational, more accessible.
And let's face it, you're an attractive woman. You're sexy. And why can't you show... Is that what Dan Rather means by tarting it up because you were showing your legs?
I don't know exactly what he meant.
Yeah, we can't get into his head.
We never really discussed it. But listen, I think probably in hindsight, it was too jarring for people. Evening news viewers are very traditional. They're usually an older demographic, I think like 62, which doesn't seem that old anymore.
Right, no, it seems young.
But, you know, so I think that they've been watching the evening news a certain way for a number of years. And I think probably even the most traditional viewers are at CBS. So in hindsight, I think we probably should have made these changes incrementally.
Yeah.
And I should have been probably less willing to try and experiment and been more formal and perhaps more formulaic, and then just do it
change things slowly.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, probably even though I felt very honored and privileged, I was thinking about on my way over here how I had dinner with Walter Cronkite, you know, before I took that job,
right,
and talked to him, and you know, he was very supportive of me, which was really a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
and I felt very privileged to sit in a chair that he had. You know, presided over so beautifully for so long. But
you know,
I think I like conversations. I like talking to people.
You're
I like
happier
a little
now?
more spontaneous. Yes, I think this is a much better fit for me.
You know, I was just thinking.
Was that a difficult period of time? Because you still kept that job.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, how did you deal? That's a stressful situation.
You know, it was difficult because I think there was a lot of obviously external criticism because, you know, for a number of reasons. I think internally there wasn't a ton of support from
You wouldn't
everyone,
check the ratings every night to see if you were going up or down?
No.
And what's amazing to me about that, though, when you have high ratings, everyone leaves you alone.
Uh-huh.
When your ratings aren't the highest,
yeah,
then the executives get a hold of you. And I think that's the worst part of being on-air talent. If your ratings aren't stellar, and this is what I hate about the ratings world, then they start in with you. They come over.
Suggest.
Katie, maybe you need to do this. Maybe you need to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what
But
you're
it's also
saying.
that environment where you
that?
know that people aren't behind you.
Yeah, you know, I think that what happened is when I went there was a big spike in the ratings. I think, frankly, mostly a curiosity factor.
Yeah.
And then it settled down to basically what it had been before I came.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, so I really focused. I know it probably sounds Pollyanna and unbelievable, but I really focused on the work. I focused on trying to do good shows, trying to do good pieces, covering different things, doing the Sarah Palin interview, getting out in the field, reporting. I did a weekly web show, which at the time was very avant-garde. You know, every week I would do an interview show just for CBS News Online.
I'm embarrassed. I can't even tell you who anchors the CBS News right now. If you asked me that question, I couldn't tell you.
Well, you know, I think that obviously it's 𝗏𝗏𝗿𝗍, by the way, and he's a great reporter
because
and a great journalist.
I don't tune in at whatever time they do it now, 6:30 or 7 o'clock. I don't tune in for my news.
Well, this is the problem. This is just opens up to a whole conversation about how the media landscape is changing. People consume information and news when they want to. They don't. They have so many choices, and they don't have to tune in at a certain time of day. I think one of the reasons the morning shows still thrive is because people have to get up in the morning, right?
Yes.
They have to check the weather. They want to know what's going on in the world. But I think in the evening news, if you're looking at the internet all day long or you have it on your cell phone, you know, I think, by the way, the evening newscasts do a great job of in 22 minutes, really doing great pieces.
Capturing the whole
Yeah, exactly.
vibe, yeah.
And I think they're incredibly worthwhile, but they don't necessarily jibe with the way people are living now.
No, I can't sit and wait for the news anymore. That's why I don't know the name of the anchor person. So,
but do you feel also that, because then they announced that Diane Sawyer was going to take over the evening news for ABC, and you sort of made it easier for her.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Robin. I just think sort of the time had come where it was not such a novelty, you know, and that Diane had an incredibly illustrious career prior to taking that on. So I don't know. I think also for whatever reason, maybe because I'm a little more of an open book, I've always been a little bit more of a lightning rod, possibly. I don't know.
I've got to compliment you, because I meant to tell you this the other day. The colonoscopy thing, in all seriousness, I remember the only thing that I knew about colonoscopies, because you had your on-air colonoscopy, which, by the way, I mean, weren't you nervous your ass was going to be on TV? I mean, I would just kill myself.
Believe me, I gave the camera crew very strict instructions.
This was
and
very brave.
I had the final say in the editing process as well, Howard.
When you saw when you saw the raw tape, so to speak, is your ass being shown all over the place, and were you mortified?
No, not at all.
Right.
They were the
draping.
The colonoscopist was the endoscopist was very discreet, a guy named Ken Ford, and the camera guys know. I had a mammogram on the Today Show, and they weren't taking shots of my breasts.
How do they do that? How do they not photograph your breasts?
Because you're in one of those gowns, and they get behind you, and
The colonoscopy thing was great, because I remember my father told me when I was a young man, he had turned 50, and he said to me, I just went for this thing, colonoscopy, and there was no, they didn't knock him out. There was this huge pipe involved, and he said to me, he turned to me, he said,
he had a colonoscopy or a sigmoidoscopy?
I don't know the difference at that point, but I remember it was a huge pipe, and he said to me, my dad's pretty stoic, and he said, I don't care about cancer or anything else compared to what they did to me today. He goes, I could never go through that kind of pain. And I never heard my father say that. So my feeling on colonoscopies was that sort of archaic view that this horrible thing happens to you and I'm never going to do one. So when you did it, it really made me realize, wow, they're not painful. The process has changed. And then my doctor said to me, I'd rather get a colonoscopy than, he said, you should see the operation they have to do on you if you get colon cancer. It's way painful. It's like the worst pain ever. So just go through it. And it really is a big nothing.
Yeah.
But you did, that was incredible how you changed people's perception.
Well,
and I do applaud you for that.
Thank you, Howard.
Yeah.
Because I think that they had something at the University of Michigan called the 𝗪𝗿 effect, and the number of colonoscopies went up 20%.
20%.
All I wanted to do is sort of demystify the whole process. That's so interesting. Your dad, back in the day when your dad was 50, I think they didn't have the kind of drugs that they give you now.
No.
And I cannot imagine, honestly, that procedure without the anesthesia.
My dad still will not get one.
Really?
Because of that experience. He still thinks it's that thing. And I go, Dad,
well,
it's nothing.
Your mom needs to get one too, Howard, because women are diagnosed as often as men with colorectal cancer.
Yeah,
and it's the second leading cancer killer of men and women in this country.
And that's what your husband died of.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he was just 42 years old. Yeah.
I can't believe 42 years old. Was there a history in his family?
No, his mom, at the time Jay was diagnosed, his mom had ovarian cancer. She ended up outliving Jay, and his grandmother had breast cancer, and there's a feeling that certain glandular cancers are hereditary. And, for example, if you have breast cancer, you have a higher risk of colorectal cancer. So I think that obviously there is some genetic predisposition.
And did you have a sister you lost to cancer as well? An older sister who was a state senator, very accomplished woman.
She was running for lieutenant governor with Mark Warner in Virginia, and everyone used to predict that she would be the first female governor of the state of Virginia.
Wow.
Incredibly impressive, wonderful, talented person, and she was you know, a couple years after Jay died, I got this phone call. This is like my bizarre, surreal life. I'm in the green room at the Tonight Show, and I had just done the Tonight Show, and the person who was the Today Show publicist said, your sister called, it's an emergency, you need to call her right away. Nobody wants that kind of call, right? So I called her, and I was so terrified it was my parents, because my mom and dad were older, and I got on the phone to Emily, and she said, don't worry, it's not mom or dad. I said, what's going on? She said, it's me. I have pancreatic cancer, and it's all over my liver.
How old was she?
She was 52 when she was diagnosed and 54 when she died.
And you were close to her?
Very, yeah.
Oh.
So there are 4 kids in my family. Emily was the oldest. My sister, Clara, I call her Kiki. She doesn't like that anymore. And then I have a brother, Johnny, and I'm the youngest of 4. So that was
so devastating.
It was so devastating, and, you know, very devastating for my parents, obviously for all of us, but, you know, for parents to lose a child, as anyone has experienced that, from my mom and dad, I think.
Did she have kids?
Yes, 2 incredible sons. Her son, Ray, is an oncologist hematologist in Northern Virginia, and Jeff is my other nephew who lived with us between college and graduate school. Great guy. He's a director. He just finished directing Kick-Ass 2.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, isn't that great?
And what's with your kids?
So proud of him.
Do you worry about your kids? Because you're a very wealthy woman. And, you know, sometimes it's hard. Well, you are. You are very wealthy, aren't you?
I think I've done well.
You've done well.
Happy to say.
You don't
which
have
is
to...
a nice thing to not... You know, the one thing about doing well, it makes life easier, and it's one less thing to worry about, and I feel very blessed to not have to worry about that.
Well, you've worked really hard. That's why I didn't... when you started dating, by the way, that's a whole weird thing, too. You're an attractive woman, you're a young woman, you lose your husband, you got 2 young girls at home.
Mm-hmm.
When do you start dating? How long do you wait?
I think it was like a year and a half.
Did it
I
feel
remember
weird?
the 1-year anniversary of Jay's death, and I was just in such a dark place and so depressed. And then I thought, you know, I'm young, I have these 2 little girls. I really did imagine that I would be in a Carol Brady situation.
Right, a merged family.
Yeah, a blended family, and it never really happened.
Because you say you're sad that you never had more kids.
Yeah, I think I would have liked that, but, you know, it just didn't work out that way for me.
How the hell do you juggle your career when you've got 2 young kids at home and you're doing the kind of work you're doing?
Well, I was very lucky because I was well compensated. I had a wonderful person, Lori Beth Meyer, who lived with us, who was like a second parent to my girls.
So you could go off and cover a story and be gone for 2 days and you didn't worry?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And that's such a blessing to be able to have somebody like that in your life. And she was such a positive influence. You know, I really credit her. I think my girls have turned out really well. They're great, nice people.
Right.
And I feel like Lori Beth had so much to do with that.
And are you still in touch with her?
Yeah. She lives in Boston. She got married and, you know, is living her own life, which is as it should be.
What would you call her, a nanny?
Yeah, but to me, she was so much more than a nanny. I used to call her my wife.
Right.
But, you know, because she really was like a second parent. So I don't know, nanny just doesn't even seem to describe what role she played in our lives.
Ah, so the kids must still be in touch with her and they must love her and the whole thing. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, though, those situations, you know, people drift apart, and she's always going to hold an incredibly special place in our lives. I wish that we stayed in better touch with her, to be honest with you. But, you know, teenage girls, you know, Howard, you've got 3. If you had 3 of them, you know, they're very involved in their own lives and get sort of caught up in that.
You're lucky they call you, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Before your husband died, did he, and maybe this is too personal, but did he make a tape or anything to talk to the girl? Like, that would be my first inclination. If I was diagnosed and I knew I was going, I would make a series of tapes maybe, because my biggest fear is that they would never know me or remember me.
Yeah, you know, That's such an interesting question. I remember going with Jay. I think my parents were visiting, and I used to go to these screenings all the time because if I was interviewing someone on the Today Show, I'd really try to watch the movie, or
Which
be
is
hard
nice
to do the interview.
Yeah.
So I remember Michael Keaton. I don't know if you remember this movie called My Life.
Oh, yes, where he made the videos.
Oh my God.
And you went with Jay to that?
Yeah, this was long before Jay was diagnosed. And that movie just devastated me. And I remember that he did do the tapes. And I think the last scene is Nicole Kidman watching one of the tapes with their child.
Right.
But, it's weird. I think that we never gave up hope. And I think we didn't even really talk very much about Jay, the possibility of Jay dying, because I think when you're in a devastating situation or a really hopeless situation like that, if you have one glimmer of hope, you have to hold on to that with all your being. And I think that
if you make a tape that says, I'm dying.
Yeah, it acknowledged it, even though I think we both knew inevitably. But every time, something would happen, if he had lung mets or his vision was impaired because he had stuff going on in his brain, I would say, we're going to figure this out. We're going to take care of it. Don't worry. And I think if I had said, will you make a tape for our girls, it would have just
that would have devastated him.
Terrible. And so, he never did that. The only time I think we even acknowledged the possibility that he might die is we were at we had a house in Dutchess County in Millbrook, and I said, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to come to this house if you're not here. Right. And he said, well, I just hope it'll be full of happy memories.
Did you sell the house after he died?
A couple years later. Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Because it was hard to go up there and without him, because that house was all him. He loved it. He was a big Civil War enthusiast.
Yeah, didn't he have like all the toy soldiers and the whole thing? And
he was really into
battles.
Yeah, he did. He was a reenactor, Robin. I was like, what is your deal? And then I thought, he said, hey, I could be chasing women, drinking, and gambling. I said, I guess good point.
Yeah, I'm
but
faithful
I used to
with
say
my
to him,
toys.
if you think I'm going to follow you around wearing a hoop skirt and a snood, honey, you got another thing coming to you. Because they had all these camp followers. People get so into this. But I think what Jay liked about it, he loved history. He went to Washington and Lee. He became really interested in Robert E. Lee. And he was a very egalitarian guy.
Did he have slaves? Did he own any slaves? No.
He was a very egalitarian guy. No, he was a Confederate.
Oh my goodness.
But I think he just liked sort of battle strategy. And a lot of the reenactors, they came from all walks of life. So one guy could be a plumber, one guy could be a corporate lawyer, one guy could be a doctor. I mean, it was just such a... And I think Jay loved... Listen, he had 2 daughters and me. I think he loved just the male bonding of it
Did you marry young? How old were you when you married him?
I was 31.
Oh, 31. So you had some time to play around.
Yeah, because I had to run around trying to establish my career, and I wanted the flexibility of being able to move around.
So you got to date before marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you kind of did it in a smart way. So it was like you got married at the right age.
I mean, it was the right age for me. I remember going to, this is so kind of morbid, but I remember watching Cassie Mackin. Do you remember Cassie Mackin, Howard? She was a Capitol Hill correspondent for ABC News, and she was beautiful and accomplished. And I remember watching her pallbearers were like Teddy Kennedy and a cameraman named Rolf Tessum, and she had no husband or family. And I think right then and there, even though I was this sort of hardcore, diehard career woman / feminist, I thought, I want that part of my life to be fulfilled too. And then and there I said, I want to ultimately get married and have a family. And so Jay was there at the at the right time, and I fell in love with him, and he was everything I ever wanted in someone. He had so much integrity and was such an incredible family man and such great values, but also wicked smart, just so interesting.
I would be intimidated dating you because I think you might have this trouble with men because you are very, very smart.
I'm not that smart, actually.
No, you kind of are. And I would think that a lot of guys get intimidated, because you're, a good earner, and also you can be very quick. I've seen you do it. And you can really turn.
Once in a while.
No, I've seen you turn on people. No, I mean you can really do it. Now that's why I never when I used to read about your dating after your husband was gone and came a time you started dating. The Larry King thing,
okay.
Mrs. Larry King.
It was no. That story has gotten
no way
so
you could be
blown out of proportion.
To him.
You know what? I think as I told Jimmy Kimmel, because I told that story on his show, because after a while, you run out of things to talk about on these shows. I'm not very interesting, Howard.
I think you're interesting.
I basically said to him, I don't know how it came up, but I was in this period of my life, I think I was in my late 20s, early 30s, where I thought, I'm going to go out with anyone who asks me because everyone is sort of interesting in their own way, right? And you can learn from every experience. So Larry King asked me out to dinner, and it was just so comical and so funny. Of course, his recollection of the evening is completely different.
Well, knowing what I know of Larry King, he had to be hitting on you, like constantly sort of trying to seduce you. Yeah, am I accurate there?
Well, I don't know if that's what you call it, Howard.
Because he's pretty direct. Like when he wants to go to bed with a woman, he's pretty direct.
Yeah, he was pretty direct. I told you. I said I went to back. We were in this car, and I said, "Where are we going?" He goes, "My place."
Uh-oh.
And I was like, do.
How'd you get out of that?
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
That's the hardest part for a woman. When you're not into a guy, how you sort of get out of it.
Well, the problem is, I was 30, and, of course, that's not super
80.
young.
Yeah.
But you would think that I would say, oh, Larry, that's so nice, but I really need to get home. I kind of froze and panicked, and I didn't know what to do.
That's what he does.
And we pull into the parking lot at his apartment in Roslyn, and we walk in, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to extricate myself from this situation?
He's like, don't worry, Katie, I have rubbers.
He's
I'm
like,
ready.
what? He didn't say that, but he did but I did extricate myself,
how?
Thankfully.
What did you just say? Oh, I have a
said,
headache.
Larry, you're really nice and.
Right.
What did you say?
I have
Let's
gas.
take it slow.
Let's take it slow, like a tortoise. She said, "Yes, I am."
I said, "Listen, you're such an interesting, nice man, but I'm interested in meeting someone a little closer to my age." I guess maybe that was too direct.
Yeah. You see, you can be very direct.
Well, I think, isn't that better just to be honest and direct when you can?
And I would also think being sexual with you would be sort of difficult because you're Katie Couric. And, I don't know that you're going to go for me.
Isn't that exciting?
But maybe what I do to you won't think is, proper. I don't know.
Well, I'll be very direct about that, Howard.
Are you direct? You order everyone around.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So
I really don't. I'm actually very much a girly girl in.
You are.
Well, although I don't know if people would always agree with that. I don't know.
Did you find the reaction of your audience interesting when you started to date and who you were dating? Because all of a sudden you were a tabloid person.
I know. That was so weird. I think, you know what? I took it kind of as a compliment that I think people saw me going through this very difficult, heartbreaking situation with my husband, who I love so much, with 2 little girls in tow.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, maybe I'm naive, but I think people sort of wanted me to be happy again. Maybe I give people too much credit.
No, but it's weird when you're a news person. And this is the weird thing too about news people that drives me crazy. News people bought into this whole idea that they're not entertainers. And I always thought it was, when you were doing the Today Show, you were not allowed to do outside commercials. Certainly as a CBS anchor woman, you're not allowed to do outside commercials or endorsements. And why the hell not? I mean, think about it. You're an entertainer in the same business that I'm in. Didn't it drive you crazy that you couldn't endorse a product or do any kind of make any outside income?
I mean, I was so busy doing my job that it didn't really drive me crazy. And I think you can see from a journalistic point of view, Howard, you know, like you endorse something and maybe you have a news story that's covering said product, and you know, there is an inherent conflict. So I think it's okay to have certain standards like that.
So when you're dating, you have to be careful because you're a news person, and if it's a guy, even with these guys, you know, they do keep a low profile with dating and stuff because it does affect the public. If I see Katie Couric when you were dating Brooks, who I met a couple of times, you go, oh, she's going out with such a young guy. It got me crazy for some reason. I don't even know why.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think people like to talk because maybe it's more interesting than their own lives. I have no idea. But whatever.
But it was also, you know, oh, that's who Katie would be into.
Yeah.
You know, like we're getting to know a side of you we might never get to know.
Are you
the
so
whole cougar thing is funny, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, well, it was like all of a sudden, well, but why not? Why can't Katie date a younger guy? I mean, it's okay.
It just happens.
It's weird how you get caught up in it.
Yeah. Well, it's just sort of, you know, gossip is fun, you know?
Were you nervous as a woman after you've been in a marriage a long time, you get comfortable and everything, all of a sudden when you start dating again, you got to take your clothes off in front of a guy.
Yeah.
And that's got to, like, did you start working out obsessively because you had to show your body? And you know, somewhere some guys can go, hey, I just was with Katie Couric, and guess what, man? You know, she's got a nice ass.
I was a little more discreet than that and discriminating, Howard.
You didn't sit and worry about who you dated, and A, were they using you for your money? Number two, were they sitting and talking to someone about, you know, the most intimate detail?
No,
I mean, I would love to read an account of your sex.
I was in pretty long-term relationships, and I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. And
but how has some guy never written a book about having sex with Katie Couric?
Because she picked good.
Yes.
Is that it?
Thank you, Robin.
Or did you have him sign a non-disclosure?
No.
She
Can
had
you
a lawyer.
imagine?
Oh,
Here.
that'd be the best.
Yes. Can you please sign here before we go
before we have
out?
our sex?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a real turn on, wouldn't it?
Did you ever lose control in your personal life? Or let's say throw caution to the wind, have a one-night stand or a fling?
Maybe before I was married, but not since.
But not since?
No.
Because you're daughters, you have to be somewhat more careful?
Yeah, well, first of all, for a whole myriad of reasons, I think you have to be careful these days doing that. And I think for some of the things that you just talked about, you know, I think that I require a certain level of trust in someone.
So you would never have an F buddy, you know, someone who you read about what women are doing, you know, that kind of thing.
So.
You think you'll ever get married again?
Part of me would like to, because I'm a very traditional person.
Right.
But you know, with my daughters almost all grown up, Ellie just graduated from college.
Wow.
Carrie's a junior in high school. It's sort of like, I'm not sure, but there is something nice for me. Well, what do you think about marriage, Howard?
I think marriage is fantastic. I'm very happy in my marriage. And, you know, some people would say, well, Katie, if you're not going to have more kids and stuff, what's the point of getting married? I feel that you do feel like family.
Yeah.
When you get married again.
There's something, I mean, I think there's something nice about being in a relationship that is not so easy to walk away from.
Yes.
You know, I think when you're not married, it's sort of like, well,
could always break up.
You know, yeah, if this isn't working out, it's not working out. I do think there's something about the institution that makes you try harder. And relationships are challenging.
Are you in love with the guy you're with now?
Yes.
You're in love?
Yeah.
It was obvious to me. I kidded you about, today I'm on Katie's show. You'll see the whole interview. I kidded you, but it was some public display of affection at the Knicks game.
Well, you know,
you were
there's
at a
PDA
basketball
and there's
game.
PDA. He held my hand, Robin.
No,
is that
there was
PDA?
more than PDA. It was a whole.
What was
it was a
it?
coming
It was
out
more.
party.
He did not kiss me on the lips or anything.
It
I
looked
don't know
very
what the
intimate.
deal is.
It looked like the two of you were really connecting.
That's good.
No one was watching the game. You were watching each other.
Really?
I looked at these pictures. I said, Katie's going to get pregnant just from what's going on at the game. You know what I'm saying?
That train has left the station, Howard.
Is that, but I know, but is that has it left? That's it? No more? No more period? That's it?
I'm 56, Howard.
It's amazing how good you look. Now, you're not doing any plastic surgery.
No.
You've never done the Botox? No.
I have actually done a little bit of Botox. I've dabbled in Botox.
Because after I taped your show.
But I think too much of that makes you look very waxy and you don't have an expression.
Right.
Yeah.
After I taped your show, my wife and I went home. I go, Katie looks too fucking good.
Honestly, it's the lighting, Howard.
Is it the lighting?
Yes, because
Howard was affected by the lighting.
Well, I got to tell you, I was on
magic lighting.
It's not the lighting. I'll tell you why. I saw some clips of me on Katie, and she looks great.
They didn't do your lighting
and
the same way?
my lighting, it ain't working for me. Whatever that light is.
True. You look great.
They only did Katie that lighting.
You didn't.
I look so bad.
No, you didn't.
That's why I hate doing these
so
interviews.
hard on
yourself. Honestly,
I'm a mess.
you are so hard on yourself.
Oh, if I just could have been a little bit good looking. A little bit.
And Howard got mad, Robin, because I said I thought he was interesting looking, but I said that really as a compliment.
I saw you vomit.
Because I think,
I saw you turn your head and vomit after.
No,
I said,
honestly.
Yeah.
And you know, when you get to know somebody, I mean, everyone has known someone who they thought was beautiful.
Right.
They get to know them and they become less and less attractive.
That is true.
And really, Howard, you're a very attractive man.
No, but I see the kind of guys
you can
go
grow,
for.
Howard. You got the chance of being
No,
more
I don't.
attractive.
I see the kind of that guy Brooks, who I met a couple of times because we were at dinners and stuff. He was a very attractive, physically attractive guy.
He was. Yeah,
I mean,
he is. He still is.
He's the
He looks
opposite
good
of
still.
me.
Yeah. No, you stop it.
You're
Stop
into
with
pretty
this stuff.
boys.
The opposite of
I'm not into pretty boys.
You're not?
I like. No, I mean, listen. I've dated a lot of different kinds of guys.
She dated Larry King.
That's true. That's true. That
You know,
says show you're open-minded.
I do like attractive men, but I find attractive comes in all sorts of different packages.
Yes. Well, we'll leave it at that. Listen, Katie, you
Howard.
are something else. Katie Couric, America's sweetheart.
I think that train's left the station too. I think there's a statute of limitations on that title.
Well, I said that to Matt when I see him. I go, Matt, isn't it great? I'm so despised. And now you're going through the same thing. Look at Katie. She's not America's sweetheart. It's perfect. Who would have predicted? You kind of are, though. You really are. And your new show is really good. I do watch. I've been watching it.
Really?
Yeah, Beth turned me on to it. And I started watching it. It's a very kind of fun, relaxed show. And I think it really shows off your talents really
and
well.
she does delve into different kinds of topics. That's one of the things that I do love about the show.
Yes.
Because, she'll spend a lot of time with something, you only know on the surface, or something you need to know, but you've never, ever had any time to spend with.
And by the way, Katie, I don't want to forget to say, you're Jewish.
My mom is.
Yes, that means you're Jewish.
I know. My boyfriend is, and he always says, "Come on."
You really are Jewish. I mean, if Hitler came today,
no one knew that.
Yes,
he would
my
say,
mom is Jewish.
If the mother is Jewish, the child is
I know.
Jewish.
I am a member of the tribe, according to
Why
Hebrew
did they-
law.
why
That's
did
why
they-
Jewish men love me, because I look like a 𝗪𝗪𝗪.
Yeah.
But they can tell their mother I'm a Jew.
But you were raised a Presbyterian.
I was. My
Isn't
dad
that-
was Presbyterian.
And he was what? He said to your mother, I will not have this.
I think, my mom, I think my mom was not super religious.
Right.
I grew up in
She didn't
Virginia.
care.
And I think,
there were no temples.
No, there were. But actually, there
Yeah.
were not many Jewish kids where I grew up. Sandy Markridge and Sandy Sager. Two Sandys who I went to school with.
You're not afraid to call people out, so to speak, even as a news person. Like when you got mad at Donald Trump during the whole birther thing.
Yeah.
You said he's acting. You said Donald's a nice guy. I've met him a couple of times.
I love him, but he was being such a horse's ass. I couldn't believe it.
Because why? Because he wouldn't let go of this
He wouldn't
idea.
let go, and it's just ludicrous. The whole thing was just ludicrous. And I think I think sometimes he gets caught up in his own bravado, you know.
Do you have? Did he? But you know, he's a dangerous guy to even criticize a little bit. He's very sensitive.
No, you know what? This is the thing. I don't know. We have a really nice relationship too. I think that I could have that conversation with him, and he would say, "I'm sorry, I agree to disagree." And
he didn't tweet about you. He didn't attack you.
I don't know why. I think there's actually a certain base level of fondness that we have for each other. I don't know, weird, right?
So when you run into a guy like that after you've said, hey, he's behaving like a jackass, you don't worry that somehow...
No, because I think he just likes to be talked about, Donald.
So you think he's not overly sensitive and will start attacking you?
No, I mean, I think he knows I like him. I think that we never even talked about it. I don't even know if he even knew I said that.
If I want to be friends with Katie Couric, do I have to be a famous person? Or most of your friends famous?
No, most of my friends aren't.
Who are your friends?
My friends, gosh, I have a really close friend who I went to college with.
And she's not jealous of you?
No.
You don't sense that from old friends who you try to go back?
No, you know, all my high school girlfriends, Howard, 5 of them are all coming to my house at the beach in July.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any black friends or only white people are friends
No,
with you?
I have black friends. I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, who are they? Who are your black friends? Brian Gumbel. She's hardly friendly with him. Come on.
You know you can't get too close.
That's right. All right, listen, who knows? I want a list of your friends. And I want to know how many are black and how many are Puerto Rican.
I would say I don't have that. You know, famous people kind of make me nervous, Howard.
They do.
I'm a little intimidated by famous people.
I'm uncomfortable with them as well.
Like when I went to that dinner party at the 𝗪𝗪𝗏s, I wanted to talk to Howard a little more, but I was a little afraid.
And I thought you were standoffish.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you, but I don't know. I was just nervous.
Katie and I
get
were
a little nervous.
We were at a dinner party, and I remember thinking, gee, I'd love to have a conversation with Katie, but you're very bubbly at these parties. You are the life. You are a Tri-Delta, there's no doubt. And you're kind of flitting around talking to everyone, and I didn't feel comfortable.
I was too far away from you at the table to really talk to you, and I did want to talk to you, but I do get a little nervous, especially when I don't really know someone all that well.
Right.
And but next time I can sit next to you and we can blab away.
When you date a guy, you would never have sex on the first date, would you?
Mm-mm.
Never.
That's never happened.
I would try to. No, that doesn't happen, really.
When Michael Jackson asked you
I don't know.
out,
I'm very old-fashioned, you guys.
I know that about you. I like that. It turns me on. When Michael Jackson asked you out.
Yeah. That was actually through Rabbi 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏.
𝗦𝗵ici𝘄𝗿𝗱.
Yeah, he became very close to Michael for a period of time. And I remember I got a producer on the Today Show said, Rabbi 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏 wants to talk to you. I said, okay.
Yeah.
So he called me in my office at the Today Show, and I said, Rabbi 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, how are you? And he said, Katie, I have a question for you. Are you seeing anyone? And I thought, this is so beyond creepy that Rabbi 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏 is hitting on me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he
Rabbi
wants you.
𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, you have like 9 kids. What's going on here? He goes, I said, actually, I am, because I had a boyfriend at the time.
Right.
He said, oh, that's a shame, because when you left, I had actually said hello to Michael Jackson, who was in New York, because I was trying to get an interview with him. Michael said to me, that's the kind of girl I would like to go out with. And I said,
what an insult.
I said, oh, Rabbi 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, that's very flattering, but I'm seeing someone. But will you tell him how flattered I am? What a nice compliment that is.
How strange is that?
Right?
Oh, can you imagine? I mean,
And
just
what
as
does
a
that
journalist.
mean? You're the kind of girl.
I think, honestly.
You're like, what do I look like, a guy?
Not to be too psychoanalytical about it, but I think he was probably looking for a little normalcy, possibly, and maybe he saw me as kind of a normal person.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, Larry King got further with you than Michael Jackson.
I do regret, though, I thought it was not that long after Jay had died. It was, probably a year and a half or 2 years, because I was dating someone at the time, and I do regret not having dinner with him. But I thought, can you imagine that scene?
Yeah.
That would have been insane.
Bringing him home to the girls?
No, but even just going out, having,
as a journalist,
breaking bread with Michael Jackson.
As someone who wants to be interesting on talk shows, you should have had that as your main story. The date.
But now I feel like it would be grossly exploited.
Oh, it would be.
But
who cares? I still want to hear about it.
So sad, right? So sad.
Yeah.
Fame is a dangerous thing, isn't it, Howard?
Well, you can get carried away.
And I look at people like Amanda Bynes and Lindsay Lohan, and it's hard enough to deal with it when you're fairly mature and you've had a pretty stable background. For all your neuroses, you have very loving parents, Howard.
Yes, and also I think you're right. If you grow up without fame, and you're just a normal person who goes through the struggles of life, it's a lot different.
You sort of get to know a little bit of who you are.
Yes.
Right.
At least.
But can you imagine how rattling and unnerving and unsettling it is for these young women and, young men too.
Right.
But particularly for these young women, because I think it's very confusing. What are they valued for? Are they valued for their sex appeal totally? Are they valued for their talent? They're not valued because they're good people, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a whole weird thing. Was it weird for you bringing guys home to meet your daughters? I mean, that's a whole other thing.
I have very mixed feelings about it. I wanted them to know that because we're such a female-centric household, I wanted them to see that I had relationships with men.
Right.
Obviously, I wasn't bringing men home all the time and having them stay. I would only, once I was in a serious relationship that I thought could be potentially long-lasting.
Were the kids critical of the guys you brought home?
They were, my first boyfriend, not so much. It depended. I think
were they critical of Brooks because he was so young?
I think my older daughter, no. My younger daughter, I think, felt threatened by that, and I think they saw men as taking time away from them, from my time with them.
Yeah.
And so it was very hard to balance because I wanted to have a social life. I wanted to have relationships. But I also wanted to be a good mom. I think it's fairly typical for single parents to deal with this.
Have that
dilemma,
and if you say to your daughters, "Well, I'm going to go spend the weekend. I'm having one special vacation with this guy," and they're like, "Well, what do you mean? You're leaving us? You weren't with us all week." And
yeah,
I
exactly.
Can imagine.
But I always tried to calibrate and recalibrate. Where my time was going to make sure that, but it's tough.
It's a
balancing act. Yeah.
It is, because the guy can come on too strong and sort of try to be daddy,
right?
And you've got to set him straight too.
Right. That's tough. And my current beau. What do you call someone when you're
boyfriend.
56? My boyfriend.
Yeah. Look at you, you're blushing.
Is very good about that. He has his own kids. He doesn't really, pressure my kids. He's very I'll let them come to me. I mean, he's very loving and warm to them.
This is the guy.
But he didn't
I think.
rush it.
Maybe this is the guy.
Who knows, Howard?
I don't know.
He seems to know.
He seems to know just what to do. Hits all the right buttons.
Look at
her giggling.
Look at
sorry,
you. You're like a teenager.
Well, no, that's because you're looking at me in that weird way.
And what do you
Howard.
do? How can you have him sleep over if your daughters are around and stuff? You can't. Oh, I guess you could.
Well, I don't know.
Well, Carrie's 17. I think
they know this. They know the drill.
Yeah.
Just get a real thick door so you don't moan too loud. Try not to make so much noise, Katie. Everyone knows about you.
I'll really try.
You're
Howard.
a screamer. There's so much more to talk about, but all right, I'll let you off the hook here.
It was fun being here.
You liked it.
Really fun.
You liked it.
The one thing I know
did.
about Katie that maybe other people don't know is she's incredibly philanthropic.
Oh, yeah?
As well.
How much dough are you giving him? Oh, she's not.
No.
I learned when you watch the show, I don't know what they left in because it was a 2-hour taping. But Katie, she had this talent competition.
This is so embarrassing.
Howard
was so funny.
And she turns to the crowd and she says, and by the way, the winner of the talent competition will get $500 for their charity. And I'm going like, Katie.
I know. It was so embarrassing.
$500 whole dollars? You
That's
billionaire?
all they could scrape together.
She's so cheap and not philanthropic at all.
Wait a minute.
That's not true.
No,
Wait a minute.
I just don't
I've
talk
actually
about it.
seen her in action.
You've seen the dough she gives?
I didn't see anything. It was not necessarily about dough, but she gives up her time.
I give dough too.
She gives up
Matt
herself.
used to say that moss used to fly out of my wallet. But that's not true. I actually am. I'm very low key about it.
We didn't
Howard.
even talk about you dated Bob Saget. I never got to that.
No, one date. One date.
I can't see you, but well, maybe I could. I
He
don't
was
know.
fun. He was really fun.
Why only one date?
I don't know.
He's a womanizer. He goes out with a lot of different women.
Really? I mean, I had fun.
He's not a womanizer.
I don't think
He's a good guy.
I don't think I did it for him.
Oh, you think he never called again?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
But that's
we'll
all
have
right.
to find out from Bob what went on.
Do you ever call a guy and say, "Hey, listen, I know we went out once. I never heard from you."
I went out with Jeff Probst once too.
Did you?
Really?
A good-looking guy.
I think he had puka shells on though. That was kind of a weird thing.
He's on Survivor. What happened? One date and he never called you back?
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to give you a gift.
No, don't. Is this like Jack Nicholson and Something's Gotta Give, where he goes to all his old girlfriends and apologizes?
I'm going to ask Saget and Probst why they never called you back.
Don't, Howard, please.
She's very happy with the guy.
Yes,
it all
worked out. It all worked out, and I can't say that I was devastated that neither called me back. I thought they were both nice guys.
You don't take it personally. You have a very healthy ego, because if someone does that to me, I'm like, uh-oh, there's something wrong.
You
with
know
me.
what? I don't think there was real magic there with either person, but I actually enjoyed spending time with them. That's what I mean about sort of being open-minded about dating. I think women need to be much more open-minded.
Dating can be fun if you don't take it so...
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, there's my husband, and now he doesn't want me.
Or I have to have a love connection in the first 30 seconds.
You actually can date, because a lot of women can't even date. Every guy they go out with has to be the husband.
Yeah, you know what? That's such a bad attitude, I think.
Your attitude is healthy, and you're right. It would almost be like, wouldn't you love to call up Jeff Probst and go, or Saget, and go, guys, we went out, we had a nice time. I don't necessarily have to be sexual with you, but you don't have to feel like you could have called me and said, hey, maybe there wasn't something there, but I just want you to know I had a good time.
But honestly, you know what? Yeah, I guess, but no hard feelings.
Why would you do that?
I don't really need more friends, honestly, and they're both nice guys.
Do you have guy friends?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally I have guy friends.
Guys who are married? Because I would get jealous. I imagine the women would get jealous if I was...
No, you know what? I mean, I am not threatening, Howard. You know that.
Oh, yes, you are.
What does she mean?
Bullshit. She means she's going, oh, I'm not like sexual, and I'm not someone who's
I can have very healthy friendships with men, I think. I mean, this is all the whole Harry met Sally thing, but yes, I have friends who are married.
Are good friends?
Yeah, you know, I haven't really spent much time with Matt lately, and
Katie
I wish I could.
swears
And
that
I
she
love
never
him.
had anything going with Matt, ever.
There
Like,
was
not even an
nothing.
attraction or anything.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually had a little crush on Matt when he was the local news anchor at WNBC. Because I thought he was so funny and so quick. And then when he came to the Today Show, I think it just developed into a mutual respect and camaraderie. And I wasn't into him that way, nor
If he put the
me.
moves to you, you might have considered it.
No, I don't know.
No?
I don't think so. I don't think so. First of all, I think that's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
So I have
wouldn't
always...
that have been fun to watch, though?
Oh, when I have sex with Robin, it gets confusing. Believe me. Believe
a lot
me.
of people thought that there was something going on between the two of us when
Well,
we
I
worked
could see
together.
that.
Yeah.
But no, and even socializing too much. When I was at the Today Show, I would, you know, obviously I was close to the people, but I didn't want to go out and party with them and go out and socialize because I thought that's dangerous because those what if something happened and somebody got mad at somebody? It just can bleed into your work relationship.
Isn't it funny, ironic, maybe? No, not ironic. It's just funny that you gave Larry King a chance, but not Matt. Isn't that something?
No, Matt wasn't interested.
Well, you can say that about anybody.
What do you think Jeff Jarvis wants? I was just going to say goodbye, but Jeff's on the phone. He's a TV fan. Then I'll let you out of here. Oh, you know Jeff? Okay. Let me hear what he has to say. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey there. So this has been a great interview. And Katie, you're a wonderful interviewer, and you have your own career, your own show now. I wanted to get your career advice for Howard.
What do you mean?
Howard lately has been he's always been great. We love him. But the most unbelievable interviews, spending an hour and a half with celebrities, getting things out of them nobody else would get out of them. My theory is that he's bucking to do an on-air TV solid 1 hour.
You think these are auditions?
Jeff, I had that opportunity. ABC came to me years ago and was going to give me the Barbara Walters franchise. I could have done 4 interviews an hour at prime time.
A year or something.
I told them that I wanted to be made part of the ABC News department, and the guy at the time who was in ABC News said, "Over my dead body." Because I thought it'd be funny if I wore the jacket and it went, dan, 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 dan. It would have been just so great. It would have been my triumph. So, Jeff, that's something I think I could. I'm not bucking for any.
Oh, I know you could do it, but when satellite ends, it's going to end. You've proven to the country that you're beloved on America's Got Talent. You're not scary to people anymore. Could you be America's sweetheart? What is next?
Is this a master plan?
No, too many people don't like me. I am very polarizing.
Oh, not anymore.
No, Matt. I mean,
he
Matt.
has no idea what it's like to be you. Huh?
You have Matt on the brain.
I do have Matt. Where is Matt? Jeff, believe me, I'm very polarizing.
Oh, I know.
Trust me. Yeah. Do you ever look at something like Q rating, Katie? You know
Not
what I mean
really.
by that?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess I'm sort of the school of thought. What you don't know.
But Q rating is your likability factor.
Yeah.
Yours has to be through the roof.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think everyone's polarizing to a certain degree. I mean, I think some people like me, some people don't. Just go on Twitter if you want to see the people who don't like you, right, Howard?
If you and I had ended up dating, it would have been the end of your career, right? That would have ruined your reputation completely.
I don't know. Probably would have made me more interesting.
A lot of edge there.
Yeah. But Jeff, listen, I think the reason why Howard's such a successful interviewer is radio does provide this certain environment. Like if I had a camera on me and I thought everyone was looking at everything I was doing, I think it would make me much less relaxed. And I think plus Howard is just fun to talk to, and he's interested.
What makes Howard so good?
I think because he's genuinely interested in other people.
It's not about me.
He also likes to talk about things that, that his questions are good. Sometimes questions that I get from people interviewing me, I don't know if you feel like this, Howard or Jeff, because you get interviewed a lot. They're so uninteresting and uncreative, and it's obvious that no thought went into them.
That's why I feel
so predictable.
That's why I feel late night television fails. If I had a late night television show,
you are thinking about it.
No, I'm not. If I had one,
Jeff's onto something.
I would not do pre-interviews because I'd rather just sort of go into it. In fact, when I did your show, I didn't do a pre-interview,
right?
And I like that aspect,
right? I think
you came prepared. You had your sort of agenda, and I loved it. I loved going along with whatever.
Yeah,
you had.
I think that's true. I think I think that sometimes in late night, not in all late night interviews, but they are quite orchestrated,
right?
And planned. And I think that does take a lot of the spontaneity because I think. Oftentimes they're used as a platform for the host's humor.
That's right.
And so sometimes, because let's face it, people want to be entertained, they want to laugh, and I think it's not all that easy to be instantaneously funny if you haven't kind of thought about
Well, that's true. It's harder in late night television because you've got 10 minutes with somebody.
And you're always supposed to be but-um-bump,
Right, and it almost demands that. It has to be funny. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I thought that was interesting when you told me that because I do think pre-interviews take some of the spontaneity. On the other hand, you do kind of want to know what areas you're going to mind, because not everyone is as interesting as you are.
Oh, thank you. Well, you did a great interview with Jane Fonda. I saw that. That was really good.
She was
really
great.
Good. All right, Jeff, I got to go.
Bye, Jeff.
Katie. Katie,
Bye,
today I'm looking forward to seeing the show that I'm on with you.
To see, yeah.
And the reason I'm looking forward to it is because we taped over 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're going to edit it. Do me a favor, if you don't use the full 2-hour show, let me have it to put it on Howard TV, because it was so much fun. I really would love to. I would love for people to see it.
I want to have I want to do a second hour, Howard.
Yeah, or put it up on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, we'll make use of it because it was really fun to do, and hopefully it'll be fun to watch.
What are you eating these days? Because you're looking good. What, are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm a real carnivore.
You are.
Yeah.
And what are you, working out or something?
I try to work out. Do I look like healthy? I'm trying to be.
Will I ever see you in a bikini picture? Do you ever go to the beach? And
I do go to the beach, and bikinis are a little scary on me.
What do you wear? One piece?
Yeah, usually. Once in a while, if I know that nobody's around, I'll wear a 2-piece.
You will?
Yeah.
Well, I hope the paparazzi catch you. I'd like to see what's doing.
Oh, God, no. No, you don't, Howard.
Don't set them on that task.
No, please. Yeah, please, Howard. Come
when you make love, do you turn the lights out?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
You like mystery? Maybe a soft light in the back?
I like candles.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I use the I have a Crestron, and I just put the screen on because I don't want Beth seeing too much of me.
I hear you, but you don't want it to be totally pitch dark, right?
No, not because I'm a visual guy. I like to see what's doing. I'd like to blindfold her and then let me see what's doing. All right, listen.
All right, thanks, Howard. These are Howard Stern's fantasy.
Yes. Oh, I have many. Listen, Katie.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Howard. This was fun. Robin, so nice to talk to you.
Same here. Thank you for coming in.
No, it was really, really fun. And if you guys ever, you would never need anything from me, but
no, I have a need from you.
Okay,
see me on. Why do you have such a dirty mind? See me on Katie today.
And by the way, can I just say how adorable and wonderful your wife is?
She is wonderful.
Really.
I'm very lucky. I really am.
You are lucky.
Yes.
I hope you realize that every day.
Every single day.
And she's lucky too.
Well,
absolutely.
I pray every day she'll lose her sight so she can be more in love with me.
Stop it, Howard.
See me on Katie
Talk to your
today.
therapist about this.
Oh, please.
That poor man.
My poor therapist is.
When is he going to take an exit?
Hey, you should have your therapist on the show, Howard.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, my God.
That would be so interesting.
He would never do it.
That's right. He wouldn't.
No, he's actually ethical, which is something new to me.
I think that, the only time that he's seeing a patient is when he sees Howard. He must be in therapy the rest of the time.
Yeah, he goes to therapy after he sees me. See me on Katie today. Check your local listings for channel and airtime. I think you'll be into it. It's a lot of fun. For more information, go to KatieCouric.com, which I was on, and there's a horrible, horrible video of me there.
Oh, God,
They froze
Howard.
this frame of me, and it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. But anyway.
We'll go back and airbrush it.
Bobo, you were there at the show. You enjoyed the taping.
Yeah, how you doing there? I have to say, Katie, you're one hot cougar in those sexy leather pants. I really believe you were taken with Howard's presence, though. I saw a twinkle in your eye.
We had fun, and there was chemistry. Thank you, Bobo. All right. See what Bobo's talking about. Katie, thank you
Thanks,
very
Howard.
much.
Thanks, Robin.
Take care.
And we'll be back right after these words.
So, Katie, this time you're on the other side of the interview.
Yeah, it was really fun. I do really enjoy talking to Howard. And on the other side, I feel like we do just have very, relaxed, interesting, hopefully, conversations. And so it doesn't feel like we're playing a role like I'm on the hot seat or he's on the hot seat. It's just fun to talk to him.
It's got a conversational vibe.
Yeah, totally. And he was so nice. Everyone was preparing me to answer questions that were just like very, not my typical questions, like anal sex stuff. And I was so happy he didn't ask me about that stuff because first of all, I would have blushed, and second of all, I don't know. It would have just been very uncomfortable for me.
Absolutely. There's only so much you can offer.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned that Howard takes a genuine interest in the people he interviews, and that's what makes him so great at what he does. What do you think his legacy will be as a host, as an interviewer?
I think, I think Howard is outrageous and says a lot of things that people want to say and can't say. I think, I hope people realize that a lot of Howard's persona is kind of, I wouldn't want to say an act, but I think that it's sort of Howard writ large, Howard on steroids, and that I think Howard is an incredible person, very smart, very kind, compassionate, not sexist, and I think a lot of this is just kind of Howard's public persona, and I don't know, I think his legacy will be that he was just wildly, has been wildly entertaining for a long, long time. And whatever it is about him, I don't know whether it's because he's so open about his neuroses, people just really love listening to him. And that's a real compliment. I think he should feel less neurotic because of that.
I'm like a woman because my TiVo thinks I'm a teenage girl. I watch The Bachelor with Beth, and I love it. I beg her to watch The Bachelor. I watch every dating show that there is. I mean, right? I mean, what do we watch?
Housewives.
We watch.
Housewives.
I love every housewife. So to be married to me, Katie, you know how women say, I just want to lay in bed and watch TV and like talk. That's what I like.
Hey, it's Courtney Love. I'm here on Howard Stern. I'm promoting my tour. I'm just sort of here to, talk with Howard. He's sort of my psychiatrist, rabbi, messiah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So really quick, so I found these in my archive, so this is a Courtney Love concert from years ago.
Yeah.
And what happened was, so she's not wearing any underwear, but that's the funny part. The concert was really famous because she went into the crowd, everybody groped her.
Right.
And she came out, her famous line was, I want to know who stole my ring and who finger fucked me. So, okay, so there she is naked, right? She's got no fucking underwear on. Okay, so now she dives into the crowd. Okay. So now she's in the crowd. Now look, people are like groping her and everything.
Right, her tits are out.
Wait, hold on. But this is my favorite picture here. This is literally like Jesus on the cross.
Yeah.
Like guys are groping her, guys are, So I just thought that was interesting to see. What do you want to get into with her?
Well, I really want to talk about what really is going on with her. She's been to a doctor, she's been diagnosed, She thinks she's normal, but things aren't going well.
Is she still like in lawsuits and all that stuff?
Well, there is something going on where her daughter now runs the Nirvana estate, but she's sold off. Courtney had to sell off a quarter of her share of the
I didn't quite understand who owns it at this point. Francis owns it, or she owns it?
That part I don't understand, but I do understand that when Courtney had it, she sold off a quarter of her ownership in the Nirvana catalog for about $50 million.
Coming up!
I know that that Grohl has always been like, oh my God, it was such a... They finally got to a place where they could sort of beat Nirvana again.
Well, she went ahead and wrote a terrible thing where she said that Grohl is trying to fuck Courtney Bean and whatever.
Francis.
You got it, Howard!
And then like...
Francis was even like, can you please ban my mother from Twitter?
Yeah.
Do you see she said to tweet out to Amanda Bynes that Amanda needs to get her shit together?
She told her she was ugly.
All right, Courtney Love is here. I haven't talked to her in I don't know how many years, a long time. Her legendary band Hole. Of course, she is the person in charge of the Nirvana thing. Let me see you.
A member.
Hey, baby, what do you say? Looking good. Thin and trim. Looking hot.
How you doing, baby?
Boy, it's been a long time.
No, it's been 3 years.
Is that right?
That's a long time.
Yeah, for you and me and Robin, it's a long time. What am I now on, like...
You look good.
14th. This is my 4th, not including the crazy call-ins.
Yeah, right. It's been but why have you taken a 3-year hiatus from us? Be honest. Why?
Because that record flopped.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, you
I can always come on here and bitch, I know.
Yeah, you always love to voice your opinion. In fact, I can't decide if the invention of Twitter has been good for you or bad for you.
Bad in the sense that, well, I learned my lesson. I do my Twitter now, and I'm very, like, super happy, cake-friendly, nice. But initially, I didn't know what it was for, so I just called everyone a whore. And then I got two defamation suits that cost me like more than like $780,000.
You're not kidding around. One of those suits was against a fashion designer. You kind of like to spew. It's almost like riding
I didn't.
music.
It was my first day. I didn't even know what it was. I was just like, you fucking. Excuse my language. Can I say that?
Yes, yeah, you're good.
Oh right, we're not on 92.3 anymore.
That's right.
Right. You fucking whore. Right. So I didn't know what it was. And
you were critical of the fashion designer's clothing. Is that what it was?
I felt like she'd stolen from me. I have to say, I felt like, and allegedly.
Right.
Which is just as bad as the FEC, or what is it? FEC? FEA?
FCC?
FCC, yeah, up your ass. It's like allegedly. Allegedly.
Right.
She allegedly stole from me?
Right.
I have it on CCTV. Okay, she allegedly stole from me.
Right. So she sued you, and it cost you $500,000 to settle the thing out.
Yeah.
So Twitter got you in trouble that way.
Yeah, and then I got another one that was just like a pile-on that was $600,000.
What was that for? What did you do there?
It's so minor and it's ongoing, so I can't talk about it.
Wow. I mean,
it's like the most. It's like.
You know what it is with you? You love to speak out. You love to talk, and this is unfiltered.
But the second was a pile-on, man. It was just like taking advantage.
I don't even know what the case was.
Well, I am legal free
right now.
Yes, it's like being drug free.
Who sued you in the second case?
A lawyer.
A lawyer.
So when a lawyer sues you, you're kind of screwed.
Were you talking about him directly? And and you were saying bad, disparaging things about her? Was that the case?
No, I actually believed what I said, which I felt like she had been somehow gotten to, or she'd abandoned me and been possibly compromised and everything because she was coming to save me. You know, I remember.
And so you get on Twitter. What happened? You're there late at night and you're looking.
I was actually answering somebody's question if I thought that she'd been corrupted, and I said yes.
I see. And it cost you a lot of money. You know, the thing with you is you are honest. You're unfiltered, and an invention like Twitter is dangerous.
I should have your job.
Well.